Thank you to our sponsor, EJ Cards, a small but motivated company special. EJ Cards believe passionately in great bargains, why they commit themselves to give you the best of both. If you're looking for something new, you're in the right place. EJ Cards strive to be industrious and innovative, offering customers something they want, putting their desires at the top of the priority list. Find EJ Cards at www.ejcards.com.au.
Welcome everybody to episode 84 of the You Can't Comp This NBA Trading Card Podcast. We're your hosts, Adam, Amy, and Russell Gibson. How you going, Russell?
I am wonderful. I'm warm, if you can believe that. I'm feeling quite warm.
You're warm.
Today.
It's the middle of the week.
Sunny Brisbane up here, man. It's shorts and t-shirts weather.
It's warm.
It's weird.
I'm rubbed up. I am. Yeah, it's not sunny Brisbane here. It's post work in cold, miserable Melbourne. But yes, we're recording early this week because it's Mother's Day on Sunday, and
Mother's Day,
and we want to give the mothers something to listen to on Mother's Day. That's why we're recording early, not to give them a break.
Gives the mum some respect they deserve, right?
That's it. So they can get their You Can't Comp This hit on Mother's Day, not wait until the evening.
Alrighty, I think today's show is going to be pretty quick hitting, but I think we should just get straight into it. So Sports Cards and Nonsense had Evan Mathis on their show, and it was actually a very fascinating... I think they were calling us out,
by the way. I thought they were saying we were one of the opportunistic ones that were trying to get first, even though we were first to talk about it before them. Anyway, it was...
I mean...
I listened to it. It was an interesting...
Look, I rarely queue things up and want to listen to it as soon as it drops, but when I saw in their socials that they were interviewing him, I was like checking my feed, to see when it dropped. I really wanted to listen to what he had to say, and I can only describe him as being disingenuous, not sorry for anything that he's done, and the second that PSA lets him back into grade cards, he'll be grading trimmed cards. I don't believe that guy for a second.
He won't. He won't. He just seemed delusional. Like he did. You know those people that show no remorse because they don't see it as a problem?
No, he just doesn't care,
But he's like,
he knows what he's doing.
It's like, does he not care?
Yeah.
Or does he actually, is he like so indoctrinated to the process that he's been a part of that he doesn't see what's wrong with it? Because they even addressed it, that the biggest problem with trimming is the lack of disclosure. It's the intent.
Sure. And that's what Carl spoke about last week. I think he summed it up really well.
Yeah. And it's all other collectibles. If there's been any modification or restoration done, it's declared. Yeah. Like it's actually, it shocked me. I think Mike and Jesse did a great job. I think they could have probably gone harder at him. Mike didn't lose it like I thought he might have.
I think.
But what was the point? If you start
when you're interviewing, I think when you're interviewing someone like that, though, like if you do go hard at them, what would the outcome be? Would he end the interview?
You almost make them a martyr.
Yeah, or do you just deny everything? And you know what I mean? So I think, and also too, I suppose for litigation these days, I feel like you can never really be too careful. I think they tiptoed around a few things for sure. I agree with what you're saying, but I mean, geez, really tough interview, wasn't it?
They let him speak. They didn't go too hard back at him. I guess everybody's already had their 2 cents on it, and it was nice to give him the floor to try and explain what the hell is going on. The fact he showed no remorse, I feel he didn't sway anybody to his way of thinking. In fact, it just sort of, I don't know, reinforced the opinions to some extent.
What do you think his motivations were for running that video ad?
I actually think he was trolling. I think he's just someone that he's like, you know what, I'm going to mess with these people because I can't grade cards anymore.
Yeah.
And he did make the point, I don't know if it probably didn't go completely unnoticed, that not every card can be trimmed. Like it's not easy to find candidates for this trimming process.
Yeah, sure.
So thinking that everybody's trimming everything.
Yeah.
That's a little extreme. But
Yeah,
yeah, the
because every
cards
card
that
that's short is the one card is long, so you can't trim the short card. You can only trim the long card.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, look, it's, I don't know. It didn't really give us any additional information, but it definitely showed that that he doesn't have any remorse, and he's happy with his stance and his lot in life now, and
So
his reputation.
my hot take on this and his motivation for it, and the more I talk about this, the more I'm convincing myself I'm right about this. He also
Yeah.
said during the interview that he's creating his own platform, and he's also created a
I heard
website.
reference.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. What's he
So
trying
then,
to make an eBay?
so he's trying to make his own card selling platform and basically compete against eBay and every other card selling platform that's going on at the moment. But he's
You know
also
what? You know
setting
what? They should refer to the commissions as the trim, the trimming. Be a great way
But
to sort of plug it.
I mean, the trimming could also be the title of a horror movie, just like The Shining. That's the other one I was thinking of too, right?
It's yeah, no, it's
So I
not good
think
for
he's
the
doing
hobby.
that to plug his platform, and the lads pulled him up on that because he was sort of talking about, oh, you need to deal with people that you know and you can trust, and they sort of pulled him up and said, well, we know you're a trimmer, why would we trust you?
Yeah, that's like, so you're what, trying to launch a platform where you're buying and selling trimmed cards, whatever.
But
I think you've just shot your reputation in the foot.
my super hot take is this though, right? So he's also offering a service to remove wax off cards and clean cards. I wonder if under the table too, he's also going to offer a service of trimming. And I've got no evidence to support this at all, but I'm just thinking
No.
like, that to me makes the perfect logic that he would also offer an extra service of
Yeah.
card restoration too. To me, it just
Well,
like it
you know
just goes hand in hand.
how many jokes Paris and I were making about buying the kits from his little website. Maybe that was
Yeah.
a thing as well. Well,
Oh,
I wonder
100%.
how many people actually
100%.
clicked the link and bought everything.
Of course, it's like no publicity is bad publicity. I mean, think about what Cherry did with all
Yeah.
those like rookie cards back in the day. Like, probably made their business
Yep.
stronger. Like, it's the same. It's exactly the same thing.
Yep.
Alrighty, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
You wanted to
No
talk
doubt.
playoffs. Let's go.
All right. So, I mean, I could go down the non-card related summaries of how all the series are going and how I'm really hopeful that it's going to head towards the bubble rematch of Miami versus LA.
Yeah, I mean, it's on the cards, all right?
Yeah, I've been watching a lot. It's good. Hobby wise, I'm not actually seeing a lot of impacts. There's only a couple that I've really seen. And one of which was very recent was Game 4
Yeah.
of the Golden State Los Angeles series, and that was a game for Lonnie Walker. Now, I'm going to assume that nobody cares about their Silver Prizm Lonnie Walkers at the moment, but this guy has waited his turn all season. Every time he's been called up, he has put shots up, and he has scored. He's only 24 years old.
Yeah.
So my thought is, when someone like Lonnie Walker comes out and has a Lonnie Walker game, is that the time to do you try and buy? Has the ship sailed? Do you try and pick him up? Do you flick through your folders? Like, do you actively go pursuing eBay auctions? Is he someone that gets on the radar, or do you just snap him up while you've got a chance? Because I see this kid getting a bit more mature and getting a decent contract.
Yeah.
Not with the Lakers particularly, but do you know what I mean? Like, this is he's put his hat in the ring, so to speak.
So without looking at his comps, I'll answer your question specifically. If you're holding Lonnie Walker, now is a good time to sell because he's in the spotlight and he's played well. And he's been playing well for a couple of months. Like it's a big line. I don't disagree with that, but I would also say too, like if you've been watching his games, he's actually been contributing in a pretty reasonable way. So that's like one part. And the other part is if you believe in this kid, you just keep buying him up because the prices will go up and down a little bit. You might say, I'll take a break for a couple of weeks because, things are going to get a little bit heated. But, that's the way I'd probably approach that particular card sale. But in terms of, are you going to be selling somebody? For me, that's a no brainer. I think, Lonnie Walker is one to
Yeah.
be selling at the moment. The other one that's on my mind to sell at the moment is Malik Monk, because he showed out really well in the playoffs, and then
Yep.
some of the other guys too. Like if you're holding Domantas Sabonis and you want to flip them into something else, he's probably someone else you could look to move along at the same time too. Darren Fox is another
Yep.
guy. So I would sort of put
Yep.
that Lonnie Walker into that same type of situation.
I do like the Monk and Walker comp. I think it's a very
Yeah,
like relative role. Like
yeah,
he comes off the bench, he's a good role player, and they're explosive. They are those players that can really impact a series, can get a team over the line, but they're maybe never going to be that number one guy, but they're a solid role player.
no, and it's totally fine to buy into role players too,
Yeah,
But are you looking
agreed.
at the comps at the moment?
Looking at Lonnie's silver PSA 10 numbers, anyone that thinks the spike hasn't happened yet, you'd be wrong.
Yeah,
So on the 6th of May, eBay sale of $17 for a PSA 10 Lonnie Walker Silver.
which is delicious, by
Then
the way. Fantastic pickup.
On the 8th of May, $49.40. On the
Yeah,
9th of May, $66.66.
yeah,
So yeah, you can see how a crazy game like that that really puts in. I think it's more than a hobby thing. I think the fact that this guy he fell out of the rotation through no fault of his own, as the coach said. But every time he's been
yeah.
called up, he's done exactly what's been asked of him and he's performed. And I think
Yeah.
that says he will be in the league for quite some time.
I got to be honest with you. I
It'll be
think a lot
interesting.
of this stuff in the NBA is situational. Because remember when he was on the Spurs, I really felt that
Mm-hmm.
there wasn't much he didn't do for them that was wrong, and that he was still moved on.
All right, you ready for silver prices?
Talk to me.
All right. September 15th, 2021. PSA 10 silver Lonnie Walker, $175.
Yeah, right.
All right. Nah, I stand corrected. That's not the biggest price. December 30th, 2020, sold for $374.28. But that's through
Just
that
shows
crazy
how.
period, right?
Yeah, agree. But I mean, we've been talking about this. Do we talk about these crazy times or not? But I still think we do need to talk about them and just almost
There was
remember
movement
how
there. There was movement there.
yeah,
Yeah.
and how crazy things were. Like
Yeah.
so. Just going back a
But
little
it's
bit on
interesting.
the yeah, definitely on the silver PSA 10. So if you look at the 6 month trend, actually
Mm-hmm.
back in November he was at about $65. So he
He
trended
was.
right down. So yeah, and basically he's just come
That's when he
back up
went
to
out of the
that. So
rotation, I think, because he was
it's
actually
amazing how
early season when the
closely
Lakers were
linked.
struggling. He was performing. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. The other one you wanted to talk about, Ad, was Devin Booker. Talk to us about your Booker
Yeah, I
thoughts.
thought I'd go the opposite end of the scale. Not just a role player, but someone I
We
think.
can't talk about Lakers all the time, too.
Oh, look, if we want to talk about Lakers, we'll just say that it was announced that the Lakers are now favored to win the West, based on
Favored to
various
win the
sports betting
championship. I was
agencies.
reading too. Yeah,
Yeah, oh look, I wanted to be a little bit
yeah.
humble there. And I don't want to get ahead of myself. There's still a series against the Warriors to win. Devin Booker.
Yeah,
Now
and
my
you've still got
question.
then Nuggets and Suns to get through too, right?
Oh look, the Sun. I think the Suns are. I think they're good, but I don't think they're getting past Denver. I think it will be
Denver are
interesting.
just a machine now. Yeah.
I think AD versus Jokic is going to be an incredible matchup. But I digress. Devin Booker.
That's okay. Talk to me.
This guy, how good is he? Like he's the one that's keeping Phoenix in this series. It's not Kevin Durant. It's Devin Booker. Like
Yeah, so my take on
I
Devin
haven't.
Booker is that he's an excellent scorer and he can score from all different spots all over the court. He can shoot the three ball. He's got a nice pull-up jump shot. He can get to the basket,
Yeah.
well enough. And I think he's getting better at using his body to create space. But I think the really underrated thing with him is his playmaking. And I think if we look at the box scores from the last couple of games now that Paul's been out, he had 9 assists in one of those games. And
That's
I think
crazy.
Yeah, I think in terms of player development and somebody who is working on their craft and just continuously getting better, I think Booker is the probably the NBA's current golden child for that.
It's
Where
it's
do you sit
it's
with him?
I don't know.
What don't you know,
Is
ads?
it now? He he's been a scorer. He just looks. He look. In my mind, I nicknamed him Pinocchio. He
Why is
doesn't look
that?
like a real. He looks like a real boy. He just looks like it. I don't know what it is, but it's like he just feels this young and fresh face that doesn't have a killer instinct. But you look at his box scores, and this guy has like he went what he drop in the first quarter the other day. It was ridiculous. Like 18 or 20 points in the first quarter in
Yeah.
game three, or game four to tie it up. He's I don't know. He's probably always been Phoenix's number one, and it took I think Chris Paul to go there to sort of elevate him as a player and to give him self belief. And that's the kind of effect Chris Paul has. But like, I don't think I've ever given Booker the credit he deserves as far as his ability to dominate
Yeah, I was just
the
going to say, I feel
scoreboard.
like you're falling in love with this kid sort of slowly at the moment.
I'm just like, you know what? He is that
It's
good.
okay. Yeah, he's really good at basketball. Yeah.
You know, the other
So
side of
now
that
we've
coin
just
is Kevin Durant's just that
yeah,
disappointing.
tell us the other side.
I just think look, Booker's standing out for me, and the don't get me wrong, Kevin Durant has been putting up numbers, but it's Booker's performance that is keeping them in the series. So no, hopefully Kevin
Yeah.
Durant doesn't listen because he might get upset if we get attacked. If we get abuse from a burner account, it's probably KD. Um, but it is. It feels like once again Kevin Durant is piggybacking on the strength of a better player. Like he's good, but Booker, in my eyes, Booker's better. Booker's the only that is Booker's the reason if they win this series.
Look, I'm a Kevin Durant tragic, and I think Durant is getting really good at filling in the gaps now. Actually, I think he's pretty good
Yep.
defensively. He's actually
Yep.
pretty good offensively in terms of fitting in and not dominating the offense and just sort of taking all those mid-range shots that he liked to do. Like he still does that from time to
Mm.
time, but we probably I don't think people give him enough credit for actually, fitting in on teams. And if the Suns do
Yeah.
somehow make it past the Nuggets, my sort of take on that is in that, that's why you need the three superstars. So if, one guy is out, then you've got those two other guys to sort
Yep.
of lean on. And then I think actually matchup wise,
Mm.
I probably think that the Denver backcourt defensively is weaker than the front court. So in my mind, it's also a little bit logical that Booker is like playing as well as he is in terms of like where the defensive pressure is coming from. I think Aaron Gordon is an
That's
amazing
fair.
defender, and it's probably got something to do with Durant's output, or it could be that he's just not playing that well, and I'm giving you know Gordon too
Yeah.
much credit. But let's talk
I don't
card
know.
value,
I
as because this
never
is
saw I never saw Booker as explosive as he has been recently, and I probably just haven't been paying attention. But as
it
far
depends
as
how much Suns you watch,
we'll
man.
break it. Not a
It's
lot will be my
yeah, and that's also sometimes good to actually watch a whole series of games, isn't it? Because you really do get a good feel on who's
gives
kicking
you a different
around, and
perspective.
yeah,
Totally. All right. In the last 12
yeah.
months,
So Booker's
Devin
PSA
Booker
10
is
last sold for a
down
month.
almost 50%.
Yeah, right.
Geesh.
So
6 months,
I mean
it's
that's
stable.
a good
It's
place to
actually up
start, isn't
6%.
it? So his last sold was 1,200. So the real dollar change is 1,200. It's actually it's quite
Mm.
staggering, isn't it? And if you go back 2 years,
It's
oh boy, it's down 82%, and the real dollar change is 5,700, nearly 5,800.
so, so
I'm
now
just like,
the fact that
yeah.
I'm recognizing him now, oh my god. See, at those prices I'd be like he's not undervalued. At his current price I think he's undervalued. At his past prices,
So,
he's certain I'd have him as overvalued.
so what I wouldn't mind to do
I
is
don't know.
look at some old school comps. So, where do
Yeah.
you think this dude plays at high end? Because the one that comes to mind for me is Clyde Drexler. Like, pretty good all round
Ooh.
player. I think Drexler is probably a better rebounder. Maybe Booker is a better passer. So let's just call that evens. Drexler got one championship, played for Team USA. I don't think he ever led the league in scoring. I don't think Booker will ever lead the league in scoring, but he's an excellent scorer. And I suppose like where I'm trying to head with this is like is actually $1,200 even is still overvalued because like I would never touch something at 7,000. That's just like the budget that I work with. But for me to spend 1,200, I would have to make it like a home run. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
for me in my head,
Yep.
that doesn't sort of play out that way. So
Yeah. Interesting. I'm looking at Clyde the Glide and his PSA 10
so are we talking about the
from
1986
1986 Fleer.
clear? Yeah.
Yep. Population count of 351. Last sold price of 980.
Yeah, sure. So why don't we say
Now that's
that the Booker
down,
is currently that's
but
down a
yeah.
lot, isn't it? So the last 2 years, that's down 64%. Real dollar change on that is
Yeah.
1,700. I got to be honest with you. I reckon that the Booker is about $400 overpriced, and actually Card Ladder overvalues the Drexler by 4%. So why don't we take another 4% off that too?
Interesting. So I reckon a Booker Silver Prizm. Let's go back. Population
So
count
guys,
209. I don't know.
if you're listening at home, I would love to hear people's thoughts on this at home because
Yeah.
what do you think? Overvalued, undervalued, and who would you comp it out with an old school or even a current player? I'd be very happy to hear
I'd like to
current
see
comps.
I'd like to see the comps of who you're comparing Booker to. Because I
Yeah,
think there is I think the first time I laughed off Booker and the reason I switched off, and this is probably ego talking, but someone said he's the next Kobe Bryant. He's gonna be, and I said no, he's not Kobe. He's not the same. Not the same as Kobe. Bad comp. It's not the same.
but you
Kobe's a
feel a bit
killer.
you feel a bit differently now.
I'm still not on the Kobe comp, but I think he has the champion mentality. I didn't think he had it, but he's got that big stage presence, and I think I've only just started to acknowledge that.
Yeah, right.
Price wise, I don't know. My personal opinion is I think he's slightly undervalued, but if you paid double the amount, you'd be overpaying. So I think the reason now I'm seeing value in it is because I think it's probably worth the 1,500 mark. So I don't know.
Yeah,
Who's
wow.
another?
Okay, sure.
But I'm trying to think of a comp. I think that's the killer.
I suppose when I said to you before, I think it's about $400 overvalued. I think I'm also just very wary too about what's happening with the market because I think things are still sliding a little bit.
True.
And I don't feel that confident, particularly in the short term, that things are going to even hold or pick up. So that's probably the other thing that's on my mind a little bit. But I suppose when I'm looking at the Drexler card and seeing that for that price, I suppose really
All
what I'm
right. So what
predicting
about
is
Dwayne
20
Wade?
years ago.
What about Dwayne
Yeah,
Wade?
I'll accept that as a comp, but like Book hasn't got two chips, right?
I think he's got the potential to get 2 chips.
Okay, sure. Let's go.
I think
Let's.
all right. What is he? Is he 03 as well? Oh, for some reason I thought he was 04. All right. There we go. 2003 Topps Chrome Refractor.
Talk to me.
That's the Silver Prism comparison, right?
Yeah, definitely.
1,602.
1,600. Yeah, right.
And that's down as well, like overall. I don't know. I think it'd be interesting to yeah, you're right. Throw it out to the listeners. Give us a player to compare it to. Give us what you think it's worth, overvalued, undervalued, and who would you comp it with?
Yeah, I don't mind the Dwayne Wade comp. My only thing about that is I think Wade is and was a very like popular guy, and you know what you were talking about before. Hey, you hadn't watched a lot of Suns.
Yeah,
I think Wade was in the public spotlight a lot more, and he
I
played
love.
alongside Ron, right? So that gives you like a lot of spotlight too.
Does this is really clutching. Like this is I'm on my tippy toes, like reaching for the top shelf,
Man,
clutching
clutch
at
it,
straws here.
go for it, clutch it.
Is KD his LeBron?
It's KD, he's LeBron. So that in that instance,
They need a chip or two. They need success.
Are you saying that then KD should be the number one, and then Booker is the support agent?
Sort of.
Because
Wade was already on Miami, right?
Because I'm holding on to
And
your
then
straws
LeBron
at the
came.
moment. I actually like Booker as the number one, and KD is the support agent in that instance. Like I think
Yeah.
Like KD's a bit more sort of versatile and can, fill in the spots a little bit more.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's an interesting one.
All
I
right.
don't know. I definitely think success is team success is a key, because you pointed out straight off the bat, he doesn't have two chips like Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Let's talk Beckett. This is not going to be a long one, Ad. So
Yes.
we on the last, not the last few episodes. This is going a little while back. To be honest, we've probably left this a little bit late, a couple of weeks.
Didn't we go
We
back to April Fool's Day or something?
Yeah, it literally is April Fool's Day, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So Beckett changed their grading scale, and they copped a
Very.
lot of constructive feedback to say that what they changed it was basically wrong. And
Yep.
I think their motivations to change it were to try and somehow bring their grading in line with PSA, and perhaps to
Mm-hmm.
make it easier to get tens. I think that was the general sort of underlying thing. And we spoke about it on
Like
the
a
show, and
reinvention, a re-imaging,
yeah,
whatever they want to
exactly.
call it.
Yeah. We spoke about it on the show, and my feeling was that it was an April Fool's joke, and actually they never were planning to change their grading scale, and it was basically just to get clicks and get people talking about Beckett.
Yeah,
So
clickbaity. Yep.
we reached out to somebody who is very much in the know and is connected to people within Beckett, and
Yep.
quoting word for word, I know the team at Beckett pretty well. Them going back on the plans was not at all planned. So it was not an April Fool's joke. It was something that they genuinely wanted to implement, but rolled it back after getting feedback. So
Very
now that
clever of them to do it on April 1st, though.
it gives them some like an outtake, doesn't it? Yeah. Now you've heard
Like, oh,
that
just
ad.
kidding, just kidding.
Where do you sit with Beckett after hearing that ad?
I think all their big announcements should come on April Fool's Day. They've just learned that it's the easiest way to disguise their intent, and they can test the market on April 1 every year. I feel
Yeah.
like Beckett know that there is a lot of pressure out there. I feel like they're aware that their position in the market has changed,
Yeah, for sure.
and not for the better. And they're trying to make themselves more
Yeah.
relevant.
Yeah.
And I don't think this is the last attempt.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I don't know. I still think Beckett have a role to play in the hobby, and it might not be that PSA grading 100,000 cards a week level of numbers.
Yeah.
But like, they've still got the black label,
Definitely.
and they need to ride that. They need to understand that where they're positioned brand wise, and if they are going to make drastic changes, that it's going to upset the masses, and they better be a bit more careful when they do market testing in future.
Yeah.
But you think they learnt their lesson?
I'm not too sure, to be honest, because I like your point of what you said about upsetting the masses, because actually that shows people do care. So I think that means that
Yep.
the Beckett branding is still important. And I think it is still going to hold a place in the market. But I do wonder,
Agreed.
where the
Agreed.
dust is going to settle on this. So, for example, yesterday PSA graded 14.3 thousand cards. Beckett graded 4.1 thousand. So that places them second
Yeah.
in the marketplace. Next in line is SGC with 3.8 thousand cards graded. And I actually think in my head, that's where it was all going to play out. That was, where it was going to land. And I think initially my thought process was, well, Beckett will be grading lower end cards and all the high end stuff will go to PSA. But now that the price is flattened out on that, there's no reason for that theory to work.
Yeah.
So maybe what's going to happen now is that more sort of TCG is going to go to Beckett, and maybe PSA is going to be sports card focused, and maybe that's where
Yeah.
Beckett's niche will be.
Yeah.
I still think people like Beckett though. Like you spoke about the black label before. I think that does hold a very important place in people's heart, and so. And also, too, I would
True.
say if you're grading 4.1 thousand cards a day, surely you could turn that into a profitable business, which, money isn't the be all and end all at the end of all of this, but at the same time, you still need to keep the lights on and,
Yeah.
pay for your rent,
We
right? So,
understand the
and
need for balance. Yeah.
yeah, like surely that's enough to, keep the lights on and, keep everyone happy. So,
Yeah.
maybe
I
this
don't
is
think
where we,
drastic changes is the way forward. That's, yeah.
yeah, maybe this is where we
Yeah.
land at, and, this is the new normal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah.
closing thoughts on that one, Ed?
No, I think my opening thoughts are good enough to just make sure you make all your big announcements on April Fool's Day. And you got a full excuse. It's great.
All right, Prizm Retail. Let's talk about that for 2 minutes. Prizm
Prizm.
Retail
We're
traditionally is
adding
something
64 new parallels, aren't we?
that
To
traditionally
the
it's
82
something
we already have.
is something that you would buy from Target or Kmart or Walmart, wherever your sort of local is. But what has
EB
happened the last
Games.
couple of years, yeah, EB Games, it's been bought up and it's been flipped. So
Yeah.
it seems at the moment though that has really reversed around. You can get it on eBay for sometimes less than what you can get it for in Target USA. And Pac-Man did a video review, a product review this week, and it was actually a very fascinating view. So if you're not a Pac-Man follower, I wouldn't say subscribe to him, but he definitely puts out some good content. And the thing that really stuck out to me in my mind was he's rarely a negative person, but he was very down on Prizm Retail. And one of the reasons is because they've taken out two of the parallels, the purple wave and the green. And he basically
Interesting.
said that to hit anything, you have to open up, multiple boxes, to get a single autograph. And then the other pull out of that is the green pulsar. I
Yeah.
haven't actually watched the case break, so I can't say, but you would assume that that's still at least a case hit. But the way that Pac-Man was talking about it, he seemed to think, it wasn't even a case hit anymore. So
Yeah.
uh, one of our listeners, Al, he's been saying just how terrible that Prizm Retail has been, for years now. And this is
Yeah.
probably what's been, ringing through my head is I can just sort of imagine Al just complaining about how bad Prizm Retail is and then playing it sort of at the same time as listening to the Pac-Man video, so. But
True,
I think
true.
just despite all of that, I'm still going to buy some. I'm still going to open some because, and particularly if
We all
the,
like opening a bit of Prizm.
yeah, and if the bottom falls out, I think that that's not a terrible thing. The only, my last thought about this before I turn this over to you, Ad, is the price. So it's pretty much forever and a day been $20 US. It's now $30 US. So even retailers are putting up their prices. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. So I'll start my response with a question.
Yeah, hit me.
What's the going rate on Prizm Hobby?
So I think at the moment it's selling for around 800 Australian, maybe 850,
Okay.
900,
And
something
that's
like this. It
what 20,
fluctuates.
24 packs?
I
How
think it's
many, like
12
it's
packets, but they're much bigger
12 packs,
packets
like bigger
than
packs.
what.
They've got a parallel in every, like do you think this directs people back to hobby? Do you know what I mean? Like it stops us, we'll call us hobby goers,
Yeah.
going back to the hobby product. And it's not, I feel like Prizm Retail is going to be the product it was supposed to be. And that's to give the kids that are out at the shops with mum or dad on the weekend that go into a Walmart, go into a Target, go into EB Games when they're down at the shopping center
Yeah.
after basketball, if they're playing basketball in the morning, they want a pack of basketball cards. This is going to be, oh yeah, I'll get you some basketball cards. It's for and we use it all the time. I'm sure we get backlash for it in the hobby, but it's for the kids.
Yeah. Sure.
And that's what I mean. Like we've talked about this previously where hoops is now hoops for the kids.
Yeah.
We're not trying to take it all off the shelf because there's no product. There's an abundance of product. It's it's more affordable because you can't buy it and flip it. There's enough of it.
Yeah.
So rather than
The
going, I
flip.
can't even get a blaster at EB Games
Yeah.
because they're sold. The bots have bought them all. The stores don't have any. All the online sales got bought out, and now I have to buy them on the market.
Yeah. So I think the flip is definitely either gone or is decreased significantly, and particularly
Yeah.
the margin in that flip. And
Yeah.
the other thing that, as I was just listening to you speak, then that sort of come through in my mind is the print run. Like how much have they
Yeah.
blown out the print run? Because if you don't put any numbered cards into the boxes, there's literally
There's
you
no
could
way
just
to tell how much.
you could just print it to infinity, right? And then
That's why
Yeah.
we're talking about all the different coloured parallels.
Yeah.
You're just expanding the amount you can print
Yeah.
and
Well, I
putting
mean,
more fluff and packing in between it.
in the blaster bit, you just
Yeah.
keep printing it. Like, who cares how many parallels is in it, right? That, you know.
Yeah,
So,
correct.
and I suppose the next like run on thought I just had then too was then that really in my mind increases the value of numbered cards, because there is X amount of numbered cards, say to 125, but how
Sure.
many then Prism Silvers? Let's just say there's one Prism Silver in every blaster box.
Yep. You get one silver. Sure.
You know, how many are there out there that then get sent off to PSA? Because we just spoke about how many cards got graded yesterday at PSA, 14,000. Like,
Yep. Yep.
I think that
And
really helps settle my mind in terms of, what is a silver worth, and how rare are these cards too, right?
yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I will agree that the silver is still, it's the Topps Chrome equivalent, right? It's the parallel. But when you talk about the Topps Chrome, there's also the Topps Chrome atomic refractor or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, there's the one above the standard refractor that's worth an insane amount of money, and that's your Prizm to 10, your Prizm to 25. Those parallels.
Yeah, they're the
Like,
ones you should be spending $1,000 on. Yeah,
that's it. Like like a Steph Curry, the number to 50, the gold parallel of his rookie card is worth much more than just the normal rookie card.
are you referring to the
and
golden
I think
shirt?
we keep referring. I did. I watched it. I had to chuckle at some of their prices. There's some very interesting goings on. That's the word. Some interesting goings on. But yeah, it's I think we've talked about it a number of times, but that numbered cards are there's literally a limited number of them.
Yeah,
If a card is numbered to 199, there are not 200 of them.
yeah. I think this
Simple
type
as
of
that.
conversation really just helps me settle in my head about what is rare and what's not rare, and where I should be what I should be chasing down, I suppose. Yeah.
It cancels the noise out from the court of public opinion.
Yeah.
Because we're sort of, as whatever our opinion on the cards are, that's fine, but it doesn't discount the fact that there is a limited number of them. So
Yeah,
a card that's numbered to 49 is numbered to 49. That's not an opinion, that's a fact. Yeah.
Not 49,000 cases.
That's it. I don't know. What was the boy saying from Codex last week? We need to bring back pack odds. I miss those. I really miss pack odds.
There's probably not enough room on the packet to write down how many packets, what the odds are.
All the different parallels. You're like, what is this? It looks like dots on the back. It's like, no, that's the micro text. All the
All right, pocket change. Let's do it, Ed.
did the honors on the 3rd of May. Said, show us your pocket change.
So Ados Uchos picked up a Josh Hart Revo Galactic graded to 9. That is mint, and those
a rookie
Galactics
for $20
just make me froth. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's incredible. All right. Next on the list, who have we got? Andrew Hewitt, DeJounte Murray, Silver Prism, PSA 9.
Yep.
1850 US. Impressive. Very impressive.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure Andrew's a Spurs collector, so I think that's the perfect pocket change. If it goes up, fantastic. If not, it just goes into your PC. It's perfect.
You watch, his next one will be a Lonnie Walker, won't
it? Dane Neville has picked up a Optic SGA PSA 9 rookie card.
Nice.
25 posted.
Nice. Well, we got Anthony Milne. All right. Panini Flux Basketball Factory Set Fanatics version, $30.
So
what?
I'm going to make a dirty confession on this. I've been bidding on these after I saw this because I love full sets. And the fact that I can pick one up for $30 and not have to do all the chasing around is fantastic. And then these also come with bonus packs you can pick up too. Like, Anthony, thank you so much, mate, for the heads up on that. That is delicious. Love your work. Yep. Alrighty.
All right.
Lachlan has picked up one of the cards that we spoke about on the previous podcast, the Elevation card. And he got that for $4.99. That's US, so he probably after shipping, he paid around, I would say, $12 or $14 Aussie.
$64.99. Yep.
That is absolutely beautiful.
Nice. What do we got? Who we got? John Smith. Here we go.
I think this is a new
All right,
contributor, so
Precious.
welcome to the show, John.
Yeah, welcome, John. That's a very nice looking zebra of Precious Achua. Is that have I pronounced it wrong?
That is perfect, man.
Premier League.
That is
$15 Australian.
for a case hit.
Now that's some nice pocket change. That's very nice pocket change.
Yeah.
Oh, double contribution. What have we got here? Someone, I reckon, PC's Precious Achua.
I was going to say, I think if you're picking up 2 cards like that, I suspect he's got his eBay alerts set quite specifically, because to get 2 low, short printed, low numbered cards like that in a week, I think that's not an error, I would say. Matty Tate, free, just chased down Bryson to sign. So not basketball related, but nevertheless, that is some absolute pocket change. Hey, segue. Where do you sit on people getting athletes to sign their cards for them in person? Does that appeal to you, not appeal to you?
It appeals to me. It's interesting because I know people, the Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, that triple, is it Dr. J?
Yeah.
The triple?
Yeah.
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 There are people that have literally, that sent them off to each.
Yeah, right.
Each person, but they pay a pretty penny for it.
Yeah, sure.
So you send it to the athlete. I haven't pursued this course of action myself, so I'm not sure exactly how it works.
Yeah,
I can only make assumptions, but you send a card off to Magic Johnson's press agent, who at times you pay a fixed fee, and he will sign your card. I don't know what evidence you get. I don't know what proof you get that he's actually signed the card.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if you got like a little clip of him signing it. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a little bit different, but that's how memorabilia used to get signed before you could pull it out of a pack.
Yeah, right.
As a kid, I used to have the autograph book, go down to the footy oval, go to like a team's training, and then try and get an autograph after training. Yeah, so
my thing is, I would never buy them ungraded because I just don't have the eye or the knowledge to be able to verify it. And if it's for your own PC, I love this so much. So I'm assuming Matt's a big fan of this dude and he's going to keep it in his PC. But in terms of me selling it and buying it, I would only do it if it sort of added to the card and it made sense.
Yeah,
and if it was
for sure.
and if it was PSA graded, that's sort of where I sit on that. I think it's your turn, Ad. I completely segued that one.
All right, Nathan Lee couldn't resist at this price. Ja Morant PSA 9, nice. That's just the Prizm base, but 35 Australian. That's that's good.
Resist it at this price. I think that's the classic thing of where we're heading at the moment with the market. When do you just start buying stuff and you say, I just can't resist it? And I think that is absolutely beautiful. Yeah.
It feels like a buyer's market because there are so many. But hang on a second. Have you seen all of the comments on that?
Yeah, we should have dug into that a bit deeper.
Yeah, but it is it is a buyer's market, and where there are bargains to be had. Although you've got people that think their card's worth more or don't abide by the rules of an auction. Wait, can I segue back to the Golden show? The guy that wouldn't sell the Dodgers jersey, he wanted $10 million. It was his reserve. It was the first episode.
Yeah. I think that's a bit different because he did, and he was very transparent.
He
about
said
his
that
reserve.
Yeah. You mean when they called him and he's gone? Did I not make myself clear when I said I'm not accepting less than 10 million for this?
Yeah.
Anyway, we're sorry to hear that, Nathan. That would have been a sweet pickup. Would have been great pocket change. Don't like when jerks on eBay do that.
Christoph Corrales, Davion Mitchell on-card autograph of the Optic variety, £17. Not bad.
Now, conversion on that is
probably double. So
I'm kidding.
$34 delivered. Not bad at all.
Yeah. There we go. Not quite. All right, Anthony Milne. Not sure if this qualifies as pocket change. 97, 98. Hoops Kobe. Frequent flyers. 88 US. Look, it's probably not under the strict pocket change, but less than 100 US for that. It's a very sweet card. BGS 9.5.
So, as a Kobe connoisseur, how would you rate that pickup, Ad?
I'd say it's nice. Anything in that sort of 9.5, 10 bracket Kobe. It's a nice aesthetic. I have a bit of a thing. I wouldn't say against, but I'm not a fan of the horizontal cards. Or there's a limited amount in the space because then need to find another one sideways to match it, and it's just awkward. It's when you get cards like this, how do you display it? So I like to either keep them in pairs or.
No, it's a real issue, particularly if you're quite, you want things laid out.
Particular about your displays
yeah. Damo Winterbond, $50 all up for a whole bunch of Rick Foxes. So I think that absolutely qualifies for pocket change. And if you PC Rick Fox Damo, I think this is an absolute home run for you, mate. So congratulations, beautiful one.
Yep. Nah, this is a very sweet haul. Very nice. Who we got? John Italia, the man himself, Julius Irving and Magic Johnson. How much?
There's no price on there, but let's let that slide and let's just froth over this card. It's not every day you see a game-worn Magic and Julius Irving. That is spectacular.
On the card it says warm-up. Were they warm-up jerseys?
I assume, yeah.
I'm just interested. I've never seen a card it's suggesting to me that they're warm-up, the part of their warm-up jersey.
We're just so used to everything saying not game associated anymore. It's just a bit of a shock to the system, isn't it, man?
It's true.
Andrew Suter Hewitt, cheap pickup for my Hawks PC. Clint Capella to 49, $5.50. Those shadow boxes, they are actually very nice in hand too.
Yep. So.
Ross Berman, does a Raz win count? I'll leave that with you, Adam.
Does a Raz win count?
You can be the final adjudicator.
Well, how many spots? How much? What was the total value of the Raz?
That's right. We need more details, don't we?
10 spots at $4.50. Yes.
If he bought all of 100 spots,
based on the spots that he bought, how many did you spend more than $50 on spots? If we want to talk about spots like that, I've got one that's pocket change.
I know what you're going to flex before you even do it. It's your Kobe, isn't it? Come on, Adam.
It's the flex, Kobe, man.
Flex.
Nah, that's all right. I think I've flexed that one before.
You can do it again.
The logo, it's sitting with the other horizontal card.
You can't move it off the shelf. It's been put into its right spot.
That's it.
If it sparks joy,
that's a good lot of pocket change. There's some very very nice cards there. Good to see people picking up some bargains. Yeah. We hope that Karma gets the guy that cancelled that
or
jar
bust, right?
auction.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah.
Final thoughts for tonight, Ad? What do you reckon?
That was a nice quick hitter. And
it
feels nice to have to be going for the championship favourites again.
Let's sign it off there. Thanks everyone for listening. We really appreciate your support, and we'll catch you all next week.
See you all next week, everyone.